All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit about my experiences with Unplugged Coding here, or coding without a computer. I chose to do the Lego maze, so I thought that might be really nice. I could print out the pieces, cut them out, and they'd be perfect to run through with my daughter. And then I found my first problem when you do anything with computers or coding or whatnot, um, issues with technology. So as you can see here, my printer hasn't been used in a long time. You can see some dust on it there. And the alignment page was not detected because the ink was all dried up. And of course I can't go buy more ink, or I can't go to the school and get my stuff that I need from there, printed there with the quarantine. So instead, I had to do what any teacher does in that time. I had to improvise, and here you can see I printed, or I hand wrote all the directions, the go forwards, the ends, the turn lefts and rights, and hand drew the maze. After doing so, you see here's one of my daughters here helping me out a lot on this. And then I built the maze out of Legos. So there's the maze I had with the characters that I was going to choose to have them go through the maze. You can see a couple of them there. And then I got the assistance of my other daughter in order to actually run the code. You can see here's my different things: go forward, turn left, turn right. I started with those ones. Started with basic. So give her the option of using those in order to build her code to get the guy through the maze. We discussed a little bit about what the rules would look like, how you should do this. So asked her where you're trying to get to. She said, well, at the end, of course, and she pointed to the end. We set up Yoshi. We set up one direction here. You can see it says go forward. I guess you can't really see it, but it does. It says go forward, and then showing that Yoshi will move forward one. So she gets the idea of what's going on here. At which point we decided Yoshi wasn't actually the character she wanted to do, which is kind of the second thing you'll find, I think, when you start with coding with kids, is that there's always something that they want to change. So here we have a reskinning the character, creating a new one, which you'll see in coding anyway. She wanted her little guy with her shield and masking guy. All right, so then I set her out to build the code. So she's choosing from the different piles, deciding what he's going to do first, how he needs to turn, and go forward from there. So she continued to build the code. Definitely when we talked about left to right, she's just learning her left and right, so that was a little bit tricky for her, especially when she got to one place kind of down in this spot right here, where she wanted to tell him to turn right because she was on this end of the table. So a turn right there she thought would turn this direction, but because the guy is facing the other direction, she actually wanted to turn left there. So that was kind of one of the big things, and you can see that right here. She had a turn right. We got to this spot, turn right, but that's not going to work. That turns in the wrong way. So this was definitely a time when we talked about how to troubleshoot and debug your code. You run it, and if it doesn't do exactly what you want, you figure out where to go wrong, and then you try to improvise or fix it from there. She did switch that out to a turn left, and then continued on her way. And then after that, we decided that we're going to change where the end was. So instead of ending here, I asked her where she wanted to get her guy to, and she said she wanted to get him to here, right near where Yoshi was. So we played around a little bit with that. So taking a basic code and then changing it into having a new ending is definitely something you'll see a lot with coding, because you'll take the basics and then use those to hopefully build something new. And you can see here she's actually, I think, no, I guess this is a better picture. You can see she's actually laying the code down, and as she does it, she moves the guy. So kind of compiling the code as she goes, compiling each step, which definitely, if you're doing it on a computer, is going to take a lot longer because it takes a while to compile. But for this, it helped her see what each line of code was going to do. So then you can see added in the idea that instead of having go forward, go forward, go forward, she could have for 2 steps, go forward, end. which is also a good time to introduce that to her because she's definitely learned a lot in basic math, and she's in kindergarten right now. So this idea of being able to count how many spaces he needs to go is definitely useful at this point in time. And then here's her finished code in order to get him to that bottom corner with Yoshi. So final thoughts on this project. Overall, I think Unplugged Coding is definitely very useful. It's something I've even used at the high school level when we're talking about how to write a proof, because a proof is really just a code to get you from step one all the way to the final step. What are you look at what are your givens, what are the parameters, and what are your axioms you can use, and then what are the other steps, the theorems and those guys that you're going to use to get to your final conclusion. So very much something I've used in the past in geometry classes. I think it's an awesome idea to help kids kind of get hands-on and a good introduction to how to actually code stuff. So you know you need every step in between there in order to get to the end. So definitely I think a project that I'm going to continue to do with my classes, the idea of the unplugged coding to get them thinking in that kind of manner.